WP was born on the racetrack. This is where all our DNA is lying in. So we also implementing all these kind of racing technology that we have, all the racing power that we have in our background, and try to get as much of these as possible on the streets and on the motocross tracks.
I'm Dani Pedrosa. I'm a MotoGP rider. I was racing in the World Championship for almost 20 years. Right now, what I'm doing is I ride for KTM. I do the development of the bike since 6 years now. Right now, we are in a level of performance, commitment, and possibilities to grow again that we never had before.
When I started 13 years ago, we have been quite a small team. We have been 60 people in total in the suspension production. We are developing suspension, means front fork and rear shock, for all vehicles of the brand, for off-road and for street bikes. We are doing this straight from the scratch from the beginning of each project. So when the vehicle, the idea is born, we already start thinking of how the suspension could look like, what are the demands of the customer, how much racing effort is put into that, which performance do we need, and then we tailor the best possible suspension for the needs of the vehicle and of the customer.
During testing, we have a lot of work to do with the new products. When we find something that we like, something that can give us some more performance, we pass that to the KTM racing riders and they test it on a real race. They go through it a few times, and then if they confirm the good feeling, then all this data is collected in order to produce again the new step.
One question that's coming up often is how much effort it is to develop a specific suspension. So let's take a Super Duke. How much time, how often do you go testing? How much does it need to have the proper setup in the end? And this is roughly 50 to 55 weeks of testing time to develop one set of suspension or the suspension for one specific bike, that it feels like we want to have, that it is performing with the whole vehicle together. So frame, engine, swing arm, the stiffness of all these components, the traction you can get with the wheel, the pure strength from the engine that you put it to the ground. So this is all considered in the development, and this is all going into the development of the suspension. What we are trying to put in every product is not just making a simple copy of the suspension that we did the year before. Every time we are doing something new on the suspension, every time we have the possibility to take hands on the suspension, we're also trying to really improve it. We're not just making small bits and pieces, changing colors. No, we are really trying to improve the function, improve the quality, have the best possible setup that is achievable for the bike and also therefore for the rider, so he can have the best ride of his life. We are doing this with great test riders from all over the world with all different kinds of riding skills, so that we are also trying to have a wide variety of test riders to give us feedback, to give us input on how the suspension should feel and how the whole bike should feel in the end.
Okay, stride on 6.6.
And the slip level 1 or 2.
In order to have a direct communication, because it's very important that you have someone that understands my words and can translate my feelings or my desires into something technical. Because many times this communication, if it's not good, maybe you request something and something else is coming back to you. So it's very important, first of all, the communication. Therefore, we have always few technicians or 1 or 2 technicians that are coming to every test and follow us throughout the year. And they report our comments, our desires to the technical designer in the factory. And sometimes also the chief engineers from the factory they come, when especially they bring some new product or a new crazy idea, and when we test together, then they get direct information, and after they go back and modify and redesign and try to make the changes necessary to get the final product finished in the proper way. One of the good sides of such a strong development that we face all the time, and because we are constantly changing our product, we develop, let's say, a new fork or new shock, and it stays with us for 1 or 2 years, but in the meantime we are already developing a new idea, so we are constantly moving forward. The good thing is that once we move to the next idea, that idea which has been running with us for 2 years or did I don't know how many races, etc., that product can be somehow translated to a road commercial bike. So our client buys a KTM with WP suspension, can get benefit of the new technology.